burrow. So when she needs to take a bath, she can't lick herself like a cat or a dog or most animals would. Instead, she finds a patch of, or he finds a patch of dry, dusty dirt, and he rolls around in it. He'll scritch his side, he'll go onto his back, side to side, all around, just like your dog will do in the backyard sometimes. And that helps get rid of all the oils or anything sticky in his fur.
I noticed his whiskers are moving quite fastly. Is that a nervous thing or just something he always does?
He's just smelling with them. It's like a bunny. They're always wiggling their nose and smelling. And when they're smelling, their whiskers are moving.
Oh.
In the wild, they would actually use these whiskers going down tunnels and in burrows and caves. The whiskers, like a cat or a dog's whiskers, help judge their size. And he knows if his whiskers fit, the rest of his body will fit without becoming stuck. Now he looks like a big mouse, but he's really not. He is not related to a mouse at all, except that he's a rodent, like a mouse is.
Well, thank you, Mickey.
Say bye. Is he doing it? Nope. Can't get him to do that. Oh, no, okay.
It's recording now, but whenever you're ready.
Town Library with book author, published author, Joe Smith.
But it's running right now.
Good evening. Tonight we're going to be talking about getting started in writing, or if you are already writing, how the process is working for you. And I'd like to ask you, what would you like to discuss this evening?
Well, I would like to know what got you started and
What got me started?
What inspires you to write.
Okay.
Sure.
Yes?
And also, I think finding the time.
Okay. Shani, you're
How that
ready?
works for you.
You are ready too?
I would say time management as well. Time management, how to manage.
Okay, so more of a professional or business type writing.
Sure.
Sure. Okay. Good luck. I got started writing by my wife. I have been in professional sales, selling in the industry for close to 50 years. And towards the end of 2005, I started planning my retirement. And I didn't want to retire until the end of 2007. But I started talking about what I would do. And I think my wife was very nervous that I would retire and drive her nuts. Because she has a home-based business at the time. And she sold it this month, so she's retired too now. And I think she's going to get even, she might try to drive me nuts. But the thing is, she said, you're a salesman. You're full of words. Why don't you write? I said, I can't write. You know, I've written articles and little things and led as the editor. And she said, no, I'm serious. She said, why don't you write? You've got a lot of great ideas, but just decide, make a decision. But she made a recommendation that I go to community college and take an English common course. Because she said, it's been a long time since you've been out of high school. And I did take some college courses. I don't have a degree. So I never get an English course in college. And I said, fine. So I took a 12-week course at the Manchester Community College. And I'll tell you, when you're my age, and you're in school with all these young 20-year-olds, it can be a lot of fun, okay? I had a great professor. She was wonderful. She put us in teams, and so I had 3 young ladies working with me for 12 weeks, and we had 6 different assignments to do over the 12-week period. And we didn't want to switch. We were given the choice to switch if we chose to do that with other members and switch teams. But the 4 of us decided to stay together, and we had a great time. All 4 of us got A's, which was really very nice. Maybe we were teachers' pets, I have no idea. But anyway, I got my class done, and I said, I'm going to get serious about this. I joined the New Hampshire were talking about earlier. That is a statewide writing group that is for authors, for publishers, bookstores can be members, right? Any asset to write, whether it's poetry, fiction, nonfiction, and they actually have an annual meeting. This year it was in March, usually it's in April, and it's at Southern New Hampshire University, which they're based at. So I joined that in 2005 after taking the English Comp course. And they had a workshop during the summer on writing short stories. So I figured I'll start looking at writing a short story. But I really had a dream of writing a novel. And I went to the session, and a lady from Lake Placid, New York, was making the presentation. It was 2 hours long. And she wrote various topics on the board throughout the 2-hour period. And very near the end, she said, I want you to select any one of those statements I wrote on the board. I want you to write a scene, and you have 5 minutes to do it. The only requirement is a man and a woman has to be in it. Go. Somebody had made a statement about a bar, and she was getting these statements from the group. We had about 20 in the class. And I took and created a clandestine scene in the dark shadows and dark booth of a bar between a man and a woman. At the end of 5 minutes, she stopped us. She asked for volunteers. And 2 ladies volunteered first, and I have to give you ladies credit because most men don't tend to volunteer and stuff like that. I don't know why, but they don't. And I'm just as guilty. And then she asked for a 3rd volunteer. Well, nobody volunteered, so I said, oh, what the heck. So I read my scene. And she goes, wow. And I'll really be honest with you, it shocked the heck out of me. To have an instructor and say, what? She's a published author. Right? So I came home, and my wife said, well, how'd it go? She's a published poet. And she said, did you enjoy it? I said, I love it. And then I told her what happened. Well, she said, well, did you bring that piece home? I said, sure. So she read it, and she said, you wrote this in 5 minutes. I said, yeah. She said, you need to start that novel. So that inspired me. And what it is about writing, it's such a lonely business at times. And you think you're working by yourself. That's why it's great to have these organizations like the New Hampshire Writers Project, and I understand there's a local Monadnock Writers Group and so forth. To get involved with them so you realize you're not alone in this world. Not only that, you can get different ideas. So I took my volunteers and one step further, and I joined a writers group too that meets twice a month, and I've been with them for 5 years. But what happened when I decided to write that novel, I wrote a chapter. Not knowing what people would say, not thinking it would go very far. And I brought it to this writers group in Gary. And this particular writers group, at the time there were 6 members, including myself. And you bring a copy for everybody to read and critique as you're reading it. And then they send your copies back to you. And you can take them home, review, make some changes if you want. You don't have to change. That's the nice thing about being an author. If you don't believe somebody likes your work and you don't want to change it, that's your prerogative, though. It's my stuff. Don't tell me how to do it, But anyway, they said to me, you've got something here. It needs some work, but you've got something here. So what I did was, every 2 weeks we met, I would write a new chapter. And 28 months later, it became my first novel, Behind the Lie. They enjoyed it, I enjoyed it, and I'll be honest with you, I gave everyone a signed copy when it came out of publication, everybody in the group. And that's a really nice experience because I feel it's like family. And my wife just asked me last week, she said, your writing is that much better Western and a dog book were written in the same year. The dog book is a true story, and the Western is a fictional novel based in the 1880s out in Utah. And it's a good story about morals and so forth and things like that. So that's where I am. And then I had a lady who is a family member, was a family member, she passed away last September. She read my first novel, and she had never read a thriller before. And she called me up when she was finished the last 150 pages, and she said, "How did you do this? I couldn't put it down." She says, "You need to write a sequel to it." So part of the dedication in the sequel is that book is to her. Okay, and she means a lot to me. I'm sorry that she's gone. She was my wife's cousin, but she was like a sister to me and to my wife. So. But that's what started me writing, and I found out, now that I'm retired, sure I have the time, but it's something I really enjoy. And I do these presentations to try to encourage other people to write. The world of publishing today has changed dramatically. You don't have to just find an agent, find a publisher. You can self-publish it, and we'll talk about that later. But the whole world has evolved differently. You can spend as few as a couple $100, or you can spend thousands of dollars as a self-publisher. Well, it depends what you want to do and what you want to get out. But everybody has a story to tell. You know, I just talked to the story about my wife, how she encouraged me, and she still does. You know, when she finished the plot, they're reading the sequel, she said, "This is great. I even like it better than the first one." You know, that's nice and encouraging. And not just because you're my husband, she said, which is really nice. You know, so, and that's, you have a story to tell. If you write what you like, or what you love, or what you're passionate about, you can write. Don't think you can't. And if you never started, and if you'd like to start, get a blank sheet of paper, sit down at the table, and write everything that comes into your head. No thinking, no criticizing, no critiquing, just write. And see what comes out. Yeah. Amazing. And it can be done. I never thought I would write a memoir, but I just started. I will be writing a trilogy to the first book. So the first book could be the sequel, there'll be a trilogy, and I'm going to write a memoir. So I'm giving myself assignments. Not driving myself crazy, but I'm having fun. And you can do that. So how do you develop content? You having trouble picking content? You said you like to